Hey everyone, it's April 10th. That is a Friday. That means another podcast is coming your way. I woke up very excited today because I get to play Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I played it last night immediately when it launched at 9 p.m. Pacific. I just started playing it. I played it till about 3, slept for 6 hours, got up, played it more, and I have podcast duties, of course, so I'm taking a break to do that. I actually have a podcast later on recording that I'm very excited about. I'll reveal that later. But I also have this podcast coming out too. Very excited about it because this is with Milo from 8-Bit Esports. He's the president of 8-Bit Esports. And 8-Bit Esports is the esports chapter at UNLV. That's University of Nevada, Las Vegas. And fun fact, I live in Las Vegas, have been for about 3 years. So it was important for me to talk to Milo, reach out to him, and just have a conversation with him because, everything esports UNLV or Las Vegas, it's extraordinarily important to me. It's where I'm at. It's my home right now and for the foreseeable future. So, he actually has quite a bit of knowledge, of course, of the collegiate side of things here because obviously he heads up a big portion of it. But also, he has a lot of knowledge of the esports scene in Las Vegas as a whole and has had his hand in some of it too. So it was surprising to find all this out and get to talk to him about it. So, I hope you enjoy, and here it is. Yeah, no problem, man. You were talking about, so the walls are closing in. Tell me about that. You were going to go out earlier?
The way I was talking about it was a joke, but I can go back into that narrative. So it's day 5 of this isolation. The walls are closing in. I tried going out the other day to get some food. I forgot what money was. And when the cashier told me my total, I saw all my debit cards, my credit cards, but opted for cash because I forgot how much money was in each of them. It was interesting.
I'm surprised we haven't just went to a toilet paper currency right now.
I know, right?
I thankfully, I got some right before. Well, actually, it was during the outage. I got some during the outage. Like, my wife found some somewhere in Vegas, and I haven't been able to find any since. So I have a bidet now, though. So
nice.
I'm gonna take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I was actually suggested, I think by Victor. I forget what school he's from. He's in the Collegiate. His name's
University of Utah.
Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. He suggested a bidet, and I was like, that was the wisest thing I've ever heard. So I bought a bidet that night.
Beautiful.
Yeah, haven't looked back because I'm so scared of running out of toilet paper and not finding any.
Yeah.
I posted a meme of some tortillas hanging on like a toilet paper roll, and I was like, well, this seems like a better option than the rough ass paper towels I was gonna use.
So funny. I saw this tweet. I forgot from which pro team, but they were just showing week 1 toilet paper, week 2 towel, week 3 curtain, week 4 100 Thieves jersey. It was so funny.
Yeah, I would use 100 Thieves jersey in week 2. If it's no, maybe not their jersey, but if it's their new line, their new merchandise line that it's literally just in paint that they did the block font with the background, there's a solid background. I would use that. I would probably use that before toilet paper. What a rip off. What kind of advantage are you taking of your fans to be able to sell that shit for $80 or more? I'm so pissed at that marketing. That's just
me. They capitalized on an amazing opportunity, and they did pilot the whole shift from merchandise to apparel. So yeah. I guess they have the right, just like how Supreme has the right to sell.
Definitely. I hate Supreme too, by the way.
Me too. I learned all about them and their entire structure, and I'm just like, this is the greatest supply and demand illusion.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I get down with artist collabs. I've come to respect artists. One of my friends, Julian, who's formerly of University of Kansas, KU. He's doing way better, bigger things. I won't say better things because I don't like to insult collegiate that way. But he's doing a lot bigger things nowadays. But he got me onto the at least respecting artist collabs with apparel because I never really understood it because he's really into shoes. And that's kind of a thing these days, and I don't get it. I've worn the same pair. I have 2 pairs of dress shoes and 2 pairs of casual shoes, and one of those being workout shoes. And I don't.
You have more shoes than me.
Yeah, well,
I
I don't.
mean, I get the artist collab and I get the appreciation and supporting whatever, but no, I can't see myself owning more than
Yeah,
4 pairs of shoes.
yeah, that's me too. I like the main reason why I have that third pair, or I guess the fourth pair rather, is because they're Dragon Ball Z shoes, and
Mm.
I love Dragon Ball Z. So they're like Dragon Ball Z Converse knockoffs, but
Yeah. Ah,
they have like Goku's like gi symbol on there, and
yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck it, I'm gonna, as the kids say, I will cop those.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sure that's what the young people are saying.
I feel so freaking old.
Me too, man.
So how old are you? You're still in college, aren't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm 25.
That's not. That's You're fine. You're fine. You're hip.
Yeah, I'm still with it, I guess.
You're playing Animal Crossing. Just how is Animal Crossing, by the way?
It's great. It reminds me that, society still can exist and
Yeah,
coexist.
yeah. Okay, so I would like to get into that just a little bit. We don't have to talk about an extraordinary amount because I'm sure like I could have a whole podcast on Animal Crossing because
Yeah.
obviously there's like my whole timeline is filled with it. So yeah, what from Animal Crossing does bring you comfort because it seems to be a big escape right now for a lot of people. Even though like games have always been an escape, but people really took to Animal Crossing, which is an atypical style game where I mean it's like a simulator essentially, except it's like a fun, cute simulator, right?
Hmm. Have you played it?
I played a mobile version of it briefly with my wife. She got
Okay.
really into the mobile version, and
Yeah.
I like dropped off, but she stuck with it and like stayed up and like did fishing tournaments and things like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's all I got.
This new Animal Crossing game, and I think it's really good on Nintendo. They made it an achievement system and more like an RPG, an MMO. It There are so many quests, so to speak. Like, for instance, I just had to build 3 houses for some residents, and in order to do that, I had to craft, I think, not no, 18 pieces of furniture, all that were very easy to craft because it's just like get 5 pieces of wood, get five like clumps of weed. Because of how easy and how simple each quest and each achievement is, the feeling of progression, especially
Aha.
during a time where we all are kind of just in the same four walls for
Not
the
progressing
next.
anywhere.
Yeah. So the fact that these quests and these achievements and progression is just so easy, it keeps you hooked and it keeps me playing at least because it's just like, okay, I'll just craft this thing, then I'm done. And then Tom Nook tells me, all right, go craft this thing. And I'm like, ah, okay, so I just need 2 more of each. Why not? Next thing I know, it's 4 in the morning. And I'm like, I've been doing this since 9 a.m.
Okay.
I missed an entire day of work.
So it is like a typical simulator. I mean, even like Civilization kind of gets in those sinkholes. But like whenever I play Skylines, City
Mhm.
Skylines, I'm like, okay, maybe I can just build one more project. Oh, if I just build the
Right.
infrastructure here, maybe if I could just put a bus station in, I'll be done. No, then a population boom happens, and I'm like, okay, well, I have to deal with this situation over here. Why do I have a shortage of supplies? Why is my power out? So I got,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that explains it. That's fun. I used to play Viva Pinata for that exact same reason.
I've heard that that game is really good. I've never played because I went to this really weird 6 year League of Legends binge.
Yeah, it's not weird. A lot of people did. I think I did that too.
Yeah. Ended
Yeah.
up losing all interest in any game. It's just pure esports.
Yeah,
Like, is it competitive? Let's go.
I mean, that's how I was for a while because I was working in it. I was doing Collegiate. I was like casting it. I was writing about it. I was watching it to study it, and then I was like practicing casting. I was setting up, contracts for me to go to places to cast.
Hmm.
It was a pretty big part of my life, and yeah, I get that, and it lasted for at least like I've been doing it for a long time, but for the solid stretch that like we're talking about now, at least 5 years, and bless my wife because she like was patient with me during all of it because I would just like
Nice.
that's all I would like focus on for a long time. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, not to brag,
brag.
but I got 15 years in this industry. It's terrible.
You're only 25.
Yeah, I've been
What have
doing
you
this
been
since I was
doing?
10.
What'd you do at 10?
I ran melee tournaments in middle school.
Ooh.
So before collegiate, I ran middle school esports.
That's so you're 25 now. So that was the GameCube, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because Smash came out on the 64. I was like, he's not.
Yeah.
No, if he's 25, it wouldn't have been a 64 because like I would have. I would have wanted to do that.
right?
I'm a little bit older, but yeah, GameCube Smash, fascinating. Mazel tov. I thought about doing that as a kid. There was a like, I don't remember what. I think I was just wanting to do Street Fighter or something, but like, I was like 7 or 8 or something like that, and there was this place. Well, I grew up in Forsyth, Missouri, and there's this place in Branson, Missouri, or Springfield. I don't remember which, called Thunderation. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but it was like a place where you go and play like arcade games and shit like that.
Hmm.
And as a kid, I was trying to coerce my mom into like teaching me how to like get into that, to like into get in contact with people and like set up a tournament realm in that and like actually have like a tournament and charge like a buy-in fee and all that. And I would like I had the prizes all set out, and so I would like I had everything set out for how much it would be, what games we would play, and how much people would get for winning, and then also my profit margin, which was the most important to me as like a 7-year-old. So
Uh-huh.
so yeah, I wanted to do that. I didn't have the. I guess I just didn't do it. But you have been fascinating, and you carried that into what you're doing now, which is with 8-bit esport at UNLV, right?
That was right.
Fascinating. So so was it you that started? I mean, it says in your profile, co-founder and president of UNL 8-bit esport at UNLV. Was that something you went to college knowing you were going to do, or was that just something that kind of happened?
So it's the brainchild of my brother and I, because this is the spiritual successor of the middle school club that we did run. So back when we ran this in middle school, esports wasn't a term. So our club was called the Cyber Sports Club. And yeah, talking about profit margins, we have this buy-in. We actually, I asked my parents, like, hey, could you help me find sponsors? Because this is, we get like 80 kids every week to play Melee. So Best Buy actually gave us like, I think $250 worth of gift cards to give out like throughout like each year. So that was really cool.
And that was back when you were 10.
Yeah, when I
Oh,
was
that's
10.
because that's. I mean, that's not bad now, but that's like when you're 10. That's like a treasure.
Yeah.
That's like a
Yeah.
gold mine.
Yeah. So, every week we'd earn $20 and we thought, wow, this is great. $20. That's huge. We made it. And, as a college kid, $20 is still a lot of money. Like, wow, we made $20. We made it.
Yeah, that's ramen for like 2 weeks.
Right? Yeah. So, so, yeah, my brother and I founded it knowing that we couldn't do esports in high school because we went to a math and science academy and they said video games have no place in our curriculum. Whereas I literally just had to point outside the principal's door, and everyone was walking around with a DS and playing Mario Kart with each other. And they're like, "Yep, nope, still no." So
That's interesting because even if it doesn't have a place in the curriculum, it's still an extracurricular activity that I mean is like I mean acts as a club, right?
yeah, that's why it was just so weird. But we decided not to fight it, and we
Right.
just started playing esports instead of like organizing events. So we ran. So like I became really, really good at Call of Duty, and I became really, really bronze at League of Legends. So so that dream of becoming an LCS pro was dead right from the
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, I had to face that harsh reality as well.
Yeah. So senior year of high school, my brother's freshman year of college. So this is back in 2012. Riot announces their Ivy Law program. And since and they're like, we're looking for 20 schools, run a collegiate esports program. So we said, we got experience. We ran this in middle school. Why not? So we ran it, or we applied, and we were one of the first 20 schools along with UCI, UCSD, and it was fantastic.
All right, that's awesome. How is UNLV like their reception to the esports community that you've like established?
Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
is that good?
yeah, it doesn't exist.
Ah,
I can be open about it. I'm about to graduate, and two, they honestly, even before this whole like pandemic like broke out, they have been giving me the short end of the stick for a very long time. So I can openly talk about it.
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, even so, I mean, it's not illegal to talk about any of that stuff. And of course, you're under a
exactly.
contract when obviously they're not
No,
offering
I'm
you
not.
anything. So
Exactly. I tried my hardest to learn, office politics and try to pander to when I need to pander and at the same time not losing my worth. So that balance is pretty hard. But yeah, I'm ready to just spill all the tea on UNLV so that whoever's listening could, maybe get some, maybe feel like they're not alone in this fight.
Oh, go for it. I mean, what's some of the struggles that you're like facing that you want to get out?
Well, so 8-Bit has been a club since 2012, so that's 8 years now. And we have grown. We have it's a non or it's a commuter school, so everyone lives at home, and it's hard to get people to come out to events, but we still managed to run like 100 plus person events every week, and all that UNLV ever gave us was a hey, that's cool. And I'm like,
Wow.
wow, that's brutal. Like, yeah, we won the Mountain West 3 times. And they're like, that's cool. Okay.
For a city that's starting to embrace esports, I'm actually surprised they're a little bit behind the curve on that one.
UNLV's behind the curve. Me as a professional is not,
Well,
because
yeah, no, I
I've
know.
yeah, I've been able to like UNLV doesn't recognize it, but the casinos have, and a lot of people trying to break into the space with the resources. And when I say break into the space, I'm talking about people with resources like
Right.
venue and funding and all that stuff.
Yeah,
They've
I know Caesars has a had a venue. Actually, fun fact, real quick, and not to cut you off, let's keep that
Mhm.
point right there. I was in an Uber actually going to the COD World League over here when it was here at
Mhm.
Hard Rock, and
Yeah,
my Uber driver was one of the dudes over in Caesar who organized one of their like gaming lounges. I forget what it was called, like the Wall or something
the
like that.
wall.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Here's some tea on Caesars too,
Tell
because
me
like
because it didn't go very far. Go on.
I've consulted for every single major resort property. Like Boyd, right before this whole pandemic, I was in contact with Boyd already to set up a contract. But so I did Caesars, I did MGM, I did Downtown Grand. So and I did or I had a brief talk with the Fertitta brothers. So yeah, I interned for Caesars. And again, this is going back to me trying to understand my worth and balance that with office politics. They hired me because they wanted to start an esports program, and they brought me on as an esports expert in the form of an intern, which in turn was just, come on, really? But
Right.
whatever. It was a job experience, and this was back in 2017. And they told me a lot of their ideas, to which I kept shutting down because I thought I'm the esports expert here. Like that's what you hired me to do. But they were not receptive whatsoever. And it was just an uphill battle to the point where I was just so unmotivated to work and give ideas. So when they presented the idea of the wall, their gaming lounge, I said, why? Just why? Because I was done playing the office politics game, and I was tired of not being listened to, because they in the end they viewed me as like this 21, 22-year-old kid. What would he know? They wanted a yes man, which I learned because they paid a consultant for 3 days, 3 full days, just to say yes to everything they were saying. And I was just sitting in that room going, if you were paying me more, I could also just tell you yes.
Oh, yeah.
So when they told me the idea of the wall, I just said, why? Lounges aren't working. Esports arenas and esports venues, like the only example I had back then was GameWorks. GameWorks was charging $5 an hour, and their hall is empty, or their lounge is empty, their LAN center is empty. The only thing carrying that entire place is their arcade, and I know that because I built the esports arena at GameWorks, and I knew their financials because I was their program manager for back in 2014. So I said, "Don't do it. It's not profitable. You guys, as an entertainment company, should be focusing on what you're good at, which is entertainment. Don't do venues because we don't need that. You have venues." And of course, they said, "You can catch more." I don't know that saying. It's like you can catch more flies
Uh,
by being whatever.
Something about a wider net.
No, something about being sweet like honey or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah. You can catch. I think it is. You catch more flies if you use when you use honey than I think like vinegar or something like that.
Yes. So
Yeah,
basically, they were telling me stop being so negative, and that's when I said,
yeah.
"Okay, I quit.
I mean, as
I'm
an intern,
done."
you're not really losing a huge amount of like anything, really, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
just this uphill battle was just so toxic to me. And esports from their eyes. It opened my eyes to how they viewed esports, and I said it's not going to work. So naturally, a year later, they announced the wall, to which I just laugh.
Yeah.
And I go to one of their tournaments, like it was a Smash tournament during CES, and it was supposed to be double elimination. 100 people were there, and I'm like, okay, this is a good turnout for a Smash tournament. And then after the first round, the manager was like, no, I'm gonna be here all night if this is double elimination. All right, guys, it's single elimination. To which everyone was like, what the fuck?
They changed it mid tournament.
They changed it mid tournament after round one, so half the people already lost.
I don't understand why they would do that. I mean, obviously, I'm not refuting you. I mean, they're new to it, and I expect anyone who doesn't
They
understand any
weren't.
of it. Huh?
The manager in charge and his co-manager or whatever, they knew how to run tournaments. They've run tournaments before.
Well, that upsets the integrity of the entire thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So
What-
yeah, esports from an executive side down, it's pretty bad. And I have a ton of horror stories like that.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I know. So this is like, I don't know if you know this. I actually live in Las Vegas with you, and I think
Yeah.
I've crossed paths with you like visually because I think we were both at the HyperX Arena for the beta test. I think we were both there because you had your squad there. I think you had
Yeah.
I think you had UNLV merch on or UNLV.
They did. I was dressed up like a professional because I felt like it was a networking opportunity because I couldn't get my guys VIP, but I was.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so this is actually the first time we've spoken. So I had no idea that you were this really entrenched in the Las Vegas like esports scene, both like in the collegiate side and the professional side. This is fascinating. Did you do any things with the Rio as well? Because they're from what I understand, the Rio they're just doing like events. They're not actually trying to do a lounge or anything like that. Correct?
The Rio actually has the wall.
The Rio has the wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I've never seen it. Okay, yeah, because because I've been trying to find the wall, and I was like, because I went to Caesars, like I don't know where this thing's at, and also like I wanted to go to a Rainbow Six event over in the Rio, and I just haven't been able to make it out because coincidentally it's on the same day as a wrestling weekend, which
Uh-huh.
I'm first and foremost a wrestling fan and then an esports fan. So I will watch
Okay.
I will watch wrestling over esports any day, even if it's live and my friends are there. Which Bill Carter was at was hosting the Rainbow Six event, and like him and I go way back, and like we're not like super tight or anything, but it's like I like to go say hi to him when he's in town. Like I skipped it because I wanted to watch wrestling, so I haven't even got to go into the Rio to look at the wall, so that explains it. I did not know it was right there. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, so got off on a little bit of a tangent there, going into the casino business. Which, by the way, I don't know if you saw the announcement, but esports betting is officially legal today in Nevada.
Yeah. Honestly, I had some part in not in that, but some part in the legacy of that. So I worked like in Caesars, I did a lot of esports betting research and I was trying to help them like find a strategy. So I'm glad that it's taken a while and I followed for a little bit like the whole legislative process and all the lawmakers like arguing back and forth.
How's that, by the way?
Big ol'
It just seems
honestly,
confusing.
aside from confusing, there's just so many big words that I
Okay,
just it's a journey in itself. Like you have to be in a very, very, very specific mood to want to even like dive into it.
that's fair. Go on. Sorry. So,
Yeah,
establish a legacy.
but yeah,
Listen to all of it. Go on.
yeah. I'm glad that we're taking a step in the right direction. I knew that the future of esports, if they ever wanted to put in a casino, this is something I tell them. It's not in the form of a slot machine. It's not in the form of a lounge. It's in the form of sports betting and in the form of experience, which a lot of resorts are like not just MGM, but just resorts in general. They're making their lobbies and they're building casinos and resorts based around the experience. Like they're putting up Instagram worthy like spots just because that's what the market wants right now. So that's still a foreign concept to these people because they take the financial model of a slot machine, which has an unparalleled earning potential,
All right.
and they try to apply it to esports, and I'm like, it's not gonna work.
I mean, yeah,
No,
betting is
tournaments
the
are not. Yeah,
yeah. I would say betting's the most natural progression of esports right now.
yeah,
I mean, because
and
obviously it's two teams.
yep. So, And the biggest thing is, at least when I was working on it, they were worried about the integrity of the sport, like hacking, cheating, whatever. And I said, that's something that I can't convince you of. That's something you got to talk to the publishers like Riot and Blizzard about their anti-cheating policies and the integrity of their own leagues. So they did that, and now we're here. It's great.
Yeah, I mean they all have something in place because that's an issue. I mean, going all the way into any other sport. Obviously, like we have baseball being fixed every now and then, boxing being fixed sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's just something. Yeah, that's something that needs to be in place anyways, and that should be expected to be in place if it's a a major sport,
A
which
sport.
esport,
Yeah.
which esports definitely is. Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. I've So, a fun fact: I work in a casino, and I mean that's why I'm often doing this right now because it's like everyone, I'm not essential. So I'm doing this, and I'm like, I'm actually kind of looking forward. I told my wife earlier, it's a casino doesn't hire me back, which I mean they're going to. I'm the only one in my apartment. I'm essential to the
Yeah.
casino, not anything
Yeah.
else. But I told my wife, if this lockdown continues, I mean at least like. I guess
Sports betting,
yeah,
esports betting.
I could
yeah,
just do esports betting. I mean, we all know TSM's going to choke in and if it's a long term game.
always.
Yeah. All right. So going back to UNLV, you have a few more complaints I know of because you mentioned you had a lot, but one of them, I mean, obviously we got out of the way. They just don't listen. They don't pay attention to anything to it.
Yeah,
Like what
credit was never given,
Yeah.
and so they cut my funding, and that wasn't anyone's fault or any particular reason. They just had irresponsible people in charge of funding, essentially. So yeah, they gave a bunch of like 15-person student organizations like $7,000+, and then with my like 5 to 1,000 person organization, they got nothing. And even when I would ask for a reasonable amount of funding, there would always be a 45-minute discussion because even then, like the way the funding process works is that it's a student government. So I go up to this committee, and then after the committee, I go up to the Senate and present. Even though these people are my age, they still don't get esports, and yeah, it's always been a battle for funding, and just for this year to get zero funding and then winning the Mountain West. And I was invited next month, and obviously it's canceled now. I was supposed to speak at NERSA, which is the intramural like collegiate committee, and I was supposed to address the entire like nation about why universities should support their esports programs. And here I am going, you should support it because I'm not getting any support.
Shit. Yeah, I mean that's a sticky situation. Has Riot given you any sort of like help with any of that? Because I know that if I recall that they said that they have a whole committee, the Scholastic Committee, that is supposed to like help establish these sort of things. That Sherman, I think that's one of Sherman's big projects.
Yep.
Is he's supposed to be helping out with that sort of thing, is with colleges around the United States. Is that anything that they've given assistance with? Have you reached out to them or anything like that? Or if you have, what is the kind of feedback you have with that?
I'm a special case because I met Sherman back when he was an intern for Riot. And again, because 8-Bit was one of the original 20 pilot schools for Ivy Law, which is now ULaw, yeah, we set the precedent, or I'd like to think that we set the precedent for that entire committee and everything that Sherman's doing. So I don't it I've never reached out personally because I'm under the impression that it is a thing or a resource to help get you established. We're just we as an organization is extremely established. Everyone knows us except it's just that UNLV doesn't want to acknowledge us.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
So
So we
go on,
yeah.
go on. So sorry, go on.
Yeah, we don't have an infrastructure problem. We don't have a structure problem. And we know how to run events, and we know how to brand, and we know how to do all the stuff. It's just no matter what we do, our university just really doesn't care.
Yeah, that's interesting to me because they do see the events going on there. Obviously, you had the Mountain West Esport event, Mountain West Conference, I believe that's what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not the Midwest.
Yeah.
The Midwest is a different one. This is the Mountain West here, right?
Right.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you've had that there for you said 3 years now, 2 years, 2 years at least,
Yep.
because I've been to 2 of them.
3 years.
3 years, and they look at that and they still don't really bat an eye with anything.
Yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
unfortunate.
That is very
It's
unfortunate.
yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is.
I mean,
And
you got your own resume at least to work on.
yeah, and we've been doing fine without them for the last 8 years, so we can go another 12 years without them.
So you said you're about to graduate.
I am.
What are your ambitions after that? You gonna try to stay in the collegiate field or go on to something a little more professional?
So I've been in the process for the last 2 years because of how upset I've I've been with the state of everything, collegiate wise. I've been trying to turn 8-bit into a startup, and I it has its LLC now. And the direction in which I have to go was actually solved last night because I initially wanted to run an NCAA v sports because I was upset with how the Mountain West ran things. I was upset with how universities in general treat their esports programs more often than not, at least. So and I was really concerned with the lack of resources. I understand from a first, like, let's just say a first generation, which would be, back in 2012, where TESPA, ULOL, and all of these programs were just getting started. I know that's not when esports started, but that's when organized collegiate play started, I guess. Um, there was a lot of, yeah, this is or esports is untapped right now. Everyone has to make their own way. Everyone is collaborating. We're all learning together. I get that. That's how it was supposed to be in 2012. 8 years from then, 2020, I'm still surprised at the amount of decentralized resources there are and how clubs would have to reach out to these people that are so busy that they can't really get a word in or really have them listen to their problems. I know there are a lot of people that still do that, but what I want to do is take what I know, like with the consulting, with all the experiences that I've had working for Tespo, working for Team Liquid and all that stuff, and establish a better version of the Mountain West right now. And what's not in the esports thing, in the esports ecosystem, is something like March Madness. So within the next few weeks, I'm going to be launching a 68 plus person single elimination tournament that's just going to be supercharged with resources and streams. And between now and the day of the first games, I'm going to make sure every university or college that's participating has casters, has a stream setup, and can activate their entire community to support this super, like, very short but very, I guess, content filled tournament.
Well, that's what a March Madness essentially is in general for basketball or any collegiate sport. It's like a very jam packed
Yeah.
event. It's a jam packed month of just sports. So that's essentially what you're trying to do, like you said, yeah.
Yep. And hopefully, by banding all the colleges together, and like intercollegiate game night held by Carnegie Mellon is in 2 days. Like we during this pandemic, it's it's a really good time just to open the doors to collaboration with everyone. So that's ultimately what I hope to do.
And is this sort of thing like how are like more schools are on board? Then obviously you said you have like a bunch of collaboration going like that. Can you give any details about what schools are going to be involved and like how much is actually going to be pumped into this sort of thing?
Good question. So I just came up literally with this idea about 20 hours ago, or at least this was an idea always in the back burner, but now it has to take forefront. So outreach for those colleges actually starts tomorrow
Okay.
and throughout intercollegiate night. But I know for a fact that all the Mountain West schools should be down. Boise might be the only problem, but yeah. So for sure we have 11.
May I ask you why Boise would be an issue?
Um, so their esports program, Dr. Haskell is in charge, and I heard and this is all from just like word of mouth.
Right.
Since Dr. Haskell is the director or one of the directors of the NACE, he hasn't. People have been telling me that he's very difficult to work with. even though that's not my impression of him, because every time we played together during the finals, he's like super open, welcoming, and he loves talking about esports. He's very passionate, but people are saying that he's just very difficult to work with. So it's a projection that he Boise might be a problem. If anything, Dr. Haskell might just be like, "This is an amazing idea, let's do it," and then he gives me a ton of resource, or he offers up a lot of resources for us to use. So who knows? It could go either way.
Fascinating. And have you reached out to any of the other collegiate organizations, like the event organizers, to try to help with this, or is this going to be a sole project for you?
This is going so my approach, and this is the problem that I see CSL having, and especially the Mountain West, because we were shut out of all conversations from the Mountain West. Um, it's going to be an 8-bit event and an 8-bit tournament, but the people that I want organizing this and giving me input and giving me direction are the other leaders. Because when I say like resources or development resources and mentorship is difficult to come by, at least very specialized, because everyone can go on for hours about their problems, their unique problems. The people that are involved with this, I want to get them into a Discord room, and I want to spend time with each and every one of them to hear about their problems and their barriers to participate in something like this, so that we can produce a greater event. If they are more inexperienced than their average person, if they're facing imposter syndrome, like this is too big, or if they're discouraged because they're like, our team isn't that good, I still want to hear them out, and I still want to let them know that it's okay to feel inexperienced. We all start somewhere, and basically train them and actually listen to them. So make this a gigantic collaborative thing.
Okay, so that sounds like quite the ambitious projects. I mean, I guess we have nothing but time right now to try
Yeah.
to try to accomplish that. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm gonna post your social media in the bottom in the description below for the YouTubes, but you can definitely, whoever's listening, check that out on his 8-bit on was it 8-bit esports? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 8-bit underscore esports on Twitter. And actually, I was looking at your Twitter, and there was a Play Overwatch tournament. It looked like it was going to be a pretty big one. Was that canceled because of the pandemic? Because I didn't see
No,
you
we're
guys.
actually still playing on it.
Yeah, you
Or
guys are still
playing in it.
playing. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I looked at their past videos, and I couldn't see. I think I just saw. I think it was Boise, Mississippi. It was something in Mississippi, but yeah, I didn't see anyone from 8-bit on there, and I didn't know if it was still going on. So at least that's still going on. That's something that's actually been really nice about esports is that you can still even a collegiate clash, which I'm actually surprised that's still going on, which is why I was wondering if it was because it's a collegiate specific thing, and a lot of collegiate organizations have canceled their tournaments because I mean people are home and they can't be expected to. For the most part, play at the level that they would on in like a lab or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's still going on.
Yeah. I mean, now's the time, and I'm sure a lot of people have caught on. Like my biggest concern going into all of this, because I did hit that depressive slump when I had to cancel all my events.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. That I realize, and a lot of people are catching on. Now's the time to cater to your community. Now's the time to unite people because they don't have an excuse, essentially. And now's really the time to produce content. Now's the time to really show off your community, put that spotlight on it. Like Twitch is super helpful when it comes down to like community showcases. So, and if everyone's just gaming alone at home anyway, which is weird because the whole like one of my biggest values was gaming is a lot better together in person. Now since we're all home gaming separately again, we can still, hop on Discord, talk. Like today we started an Animal Crossing Discord channel, and after this call I'm actually going to start adding all of the friend codes just so that people can trade with me, because that's
Gotta get that iron ore.
exactly.
People
Yeah,
keep,
that's it.
yeah. Real quick, people keep saying that they need peaches or apples, and it's like just go to the grocery store. They're not talking about those. They're talking about the Tom Nook economy, and
Hmm.
I'm left
That's the only
out.
economy right now. Like you have
Yes.
you have the deserted island economy, and then you have the paper.
Jeez. The only game I'm looking forward to right now is Final Fantasy VII. Other than
And
that,
that's what a lot of people are looking forward to too.
oh my gosh, I'm yeah, It's in a couple weeks. I got Borderlands downloading right now. I'm on
Nice.
Borderlands 3. I haven't played Borderlands since number 1, and I soloed that, but I have a friend to go through with it and for Borderlands 3, and I'm actually really excited about it. So I'm
Nice.
yeah, I'm gonna get onto that tonight because my Wi-Fi takes it like 7 hours to download. Because
Yeah, that's how I felt when I downloaded Warzone.
yeah, that happened to me. Yeah, so that's on my PlayStation 4. The Warzone's on my tower, which is connected to my Ethernet and like an actual hardline cable.
Mm-hmm.
So it only took like 3 hours to download.
Nice.
But yeah, Warzone has been incredibly fun for me. It's been a great time, like just time consumer, because I don't get upset like I do. So I have a history of League of Legends. It's a very toxic relationship, and I haven't played it in a long time because I just got tired of being angry. And I found out other competitive games don't make me angry, just League of Legends, and I still have no idea why. Like even in Rainbow Six, I will like get annoyed, like, oh, I shouldn't have died there, I'm stupid. But I won't it won't ruin my day like League of Legends can. And I know some people have control over that. I'm not one of those people.
Oh, actually, that's interesting because my first, I guess, esport was Call of Duty Black Ops, and this was back in high school, like senior year of high school, and I was really good. And I was invited to play an MLG, and when I got that email, I'm just like, esports, Major League Gaming, that's not a real thing. And then, so I ignore that email.
Joke's
But
on you.
yeah, right. But Black Ops made me so angry all the time, like throwing controllers, stereotypical rage, angry.
Yeah.
So when I played League of Legends, I didn't rage.
I think it's
But
the first competitive game we really get into and like really
yeah,
just really dedicate ourselves to, because that's what League was for me, and it sounds like that's what Call of Duty was for you.
yeah. That's what I'm starting to think. But League of Legends, I do have a toxic relationship with League of Legends, but it was more so a self-esteem issue, because I realized this when I was in class, again, senior year of high school. Whenever I'd be doing group projects, if I did something wrong, I'd be overly concerned with how everyone else was thinking about me because I expected pings.
That's
So it wasn't a rage thing, or it wasn't just like a ruin my day thing. It was I'm so self-conscious of how I'm acting right now type thing in all aspects of my life.
I mean, it was good to be, aware of who you are from how you project yourself around the environment, right?
Yeah,
I
but
think
not
so
to that
anyways.
level.
No, probably not. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
The smoke countdown timer for the gas timer for Warzone, that plays in my head when I'm not playing the game right now, because I've been playing a lot lately, and that will play in my head, the little beep beep that thing.
I actually haven't played Warzone for a very good reason.
What is that?
I downloaded it, but the new Teamfight Tactics set came out.
Oh.
And Amazon delayed my shipment for Animal Crossing by 3 days. So in those 3 days, I played 52 games of TFT.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I was
guess they're not
disgusted with myself.
They're not extraordinarily long, but that is a lot still.
It was actually my average game time was 35 minutes. So it was about the game time of League.
So yeah, you were lasting a long time in those.
Yeah. So yeah, I was disgusted with myself.
Are you good at the game?
I'd like to think so.
Oh, well, that's a start. Because you play that fast, you better be.
Yeah. Because like I made it from unranked to plat, and that's when I stopped and said, okay, I can play other games now, but now it's a part of me. Because like even before this, I was playing TFT.
Yeah. See, that's the problem with me. Is the only competitive game I've ever been good at is League. I mean, I'm like a one-trick fiddlesticks player.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a one-trick fizz, so that's okay.
I love just shitting all over fizzes so much, almost as much as Yasuo. Yasuo and then Fizz is so fun because every mid Fizz thinks that they got a one-up on everybody, and every Yasuo does too. And then they play Fiddlesticks and realize Playful Trickster, it cannot break a drain, and I just love it so much.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never lost to a Fiddlesticks.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man.
You must have been playing against some really bad fizzes.
I have. So one of my old videos I did on YouTube got to the second page of Reddit, and it was a Fiddlesticks guide on how to play middle, because I play Fiddlesticks middle primarily. Like I do take
Okay.
him into support sometimes, and I try to avoid the jungle because my pathing sucks, and I don't like
Yeah.
too much pressure. But
Yeah.
I take him middle, and I have quite a few clips of me just like taking a steamy dump right on
See,
the
see, now I
face.
gotta look this up.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll link it to you right after this.
All right, I'd
But
love it.
yeah, it's dated. Like it still has runes and masteries, but
Still,
yeah,
yeah, I've
idea.
been playing League for a long time, so yeah,
Yeah, so you've
I've
played
been
one.
there.
Yeah, so I got to platinum on on just fiddlesticks alone,
Nice.
and TFT I started playing. I was like, I could probably do this because I played a lot of Dota Underlords, and I never really,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, like all right at Dota, I guess. It wasn't like great, but I was like, I wasn't as good as I was at League, but I was like better than I was at Rainbow Six. And Rainbow Six, I'm like a silver, which is I think is terrible. But uh, I've started playing TNT, and I got placed in like bronze. I was like, oh well, I guess I guess that's a nice reality check. I'm only good at League of Legends, and I really hate that because I don't want to play that game.
Yeah, I feel that with all the time a lot of people have dedicated to League, they just don't have that drive and passion anymore for other games. I
That's
certainly don't.
so true.
Yeah.
It has sapped all of my will to be. I play a lot of RPGs now as a result though because like I have no. So when I was playing League, I was like casting it, studying it, doing all this. Like we said earlier, very absorbed into the life of esports and League of Legends.
Yeah.
And yeah, I haven't got that absorbed in anything besides like maybe I don't know, like maybe an RPG for like a week. But after a week, it's done. Once
Yeah.
you beat it, it's done. There's no
Right.
you can't beat League of Legends. So yeah.
I'm still an active competitor in Smash
Okay.
because I used to I had that drive in League, and when 8-bit started, and this is one of the glory stories, like when 8-bit started, I wanted to become an influencer because I was like alone and outcasted in high school, and I didn't want anyone to feel that way in college. But I also, the way I wanted to become someone was I wanted to become a professional player. So when I established like the first League of Legends team for 8-bit, I was on it because of lack of players. And they forced me to support. I was a jungle main back then, and then I went to support, and then I went to mid, which I'm still a mid main now. The AD carry taught me how to, like, coached me every day. We'd play. So I made it all the way from bronze to plat, and I'm like, this is great, but I can't get to diamond. That was hard. I will never do that again. But I took that drive with me to Overwatch, and I played Overwatch like 15 hours a day, and then because of how much gaming I did, my wrist couldn't handle it anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I went through that once or twice, but like I just had to rest it and just shoutcast instead of play the game.
Yeah, but what I
Yeah.
did was I picked up a controller and started playing Smash, and now I'm still an active Smash player, but when it comes to doing drills every day or labbing or practicing, I'm just like, I'd rather just play.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now I'm at a Yeah, so now I'm at that plateau where it's just either I do put the time in the lab or I just stay here frustrated.
Yeah, when it gets to the point of wrist hurt, like wrist pain, like that's when you have to start incorporating stretches into your just routine in general.
Yeah, I went to physical therapy. I started doing stretches, and I take breaks often. So my wrist is fine now and I can play these games, but I don't dream of going, okay, that's a lie. I still dream of going pro in Smash, if anything. But yeah, like I never once imagined, at least in the early stages of 8-bit, that my level of influence would be more of a consultant and more of an event organizer than player or figure, or traditional figure, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing where paths go because I always thought I was going to be casting for a long time, and then I guess I did for a long time, but I got so disenfranchised with League and specifically with Riot, and I realized I really don't want to be a quote unquote rioter.
Yeah.
That was the only game I ever got good at in casting. Like I tried Rainbow Six, and I didn't do too bad. Like actually, Twitch was really nice to me. The collegiate community of Rainbow Six was very nice, and I really appreciate them for that. But my knowledge for Rainbow Six was very rudimentary. It was very like basic, and they were really nice to me. And I had like the whole enthusiasm of a broadcaster, and I had the rhythm down. And I had my co-caster there, which bless his heart, I kind of bailed on him during that whole tenure because I was like, this is boring. But I realized, man, if I'm gonna get good at this game, I have to put in another 5 years of just straight up dedication. And like, I don't know if I can do that again. So League is kind
Yeah.
of like when I backed out of League, my ambition almost stopped for casting completely. Like I still like to write. I obviously love doing podcasts. I love the collegiate community so much, but just a specific game anymore. It's like I think I'm done. I think I'm just going to be a casual player and just find something else to do. And this is me like trying to find something else to do. Like I'm not getting paid for it, but I was getting paid for casting. I was getting paid for writing. I was getting paid for other content production, but it was like specific content production and stuff I don't want to do anymore. So like man, this is like me trying to like just do something, anything. I don't care. Just stay in it somehow because it was so fun
Yeah.
for me. And man,
Yeah.
I don't have the patience anymore to do anything else. So,
Yeah.
hello, Milo. Thank you for being on. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I'm right there with you.
Esports is a fascinating journey because it can take all sorts of
Yeah,
roads. And
definitely.
nowadays there are so many avenues to it. Like even this, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but it could be on my resume. Even so, like as an extracurricular, it has something to do with everything. And as much as I hate, fun fact about me, I hate networking. I
Hmm.
really don't like it. But this is actually a form of decent networking because I get to talk to people I have no idea, like what
Yeah, it
they,
is.
yeah, like obviously like you and I have never talked to each other.
Right.
Now we have. We spent 50 minutes talking to each other, and it's been great. And I have a positive rapport with you now. I mean, not that I was bad before, but it's like
That's true.
now I know Milo. I know who
Right.
I know a brief synopsis of the human Milo in UNLV Milo. So man, yeah, I if I weren't such a hermit, I probably would have like reached out to you before and like said, hey, is there any events going on? And like, but I'm very introverted and I like to stay in my bubble. So
No worries.
that
A
happened.
lot. That I think that's a majority of this community.
Yeah, that happened with Chase Wesner. He writes for Unicorn. He lived in Vegas for a while. And Peter Lamb, who was RIT, which I think you were on his stream.
Peter
Like,
and I go way back.
yeah,
Yeah.
you were on his stream like a week or two ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was on this podcast. He's in the archives. Go back and watch it. Whoever's listening, give me some views, like, share, subscribe. Anyway, yeah, Peter's like super nice. Never talked to him outside of this podcast besides like Twitter. Never met
Yeah.
with him because man, I just can't be arsed to go out. I mean, now I'm forced to stay in, and it's like now I kind of want to go out, but
Me too.
it sucks
It
when
does.
you're told to do something that you
Yeah.
normally do. Now all of a sudden it's like, fuck that, I want to go.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
But
man.
last night I was just lamenting to my sister and my girlfriend. I'm just like, man, do you remember places? I remember places.
You remember when you could do anything in Vegas at 2 a.m.?
Yeah, remember when we could leave without having our having the elderly fear for their lives?
Oh my gosh, times have changed.
Yeah,
Milo, we should not end on such a negative on such a, I won't say negative, but such a dram doom like no.
right.
We're not
We should.
we're not doomers.
Yeah.
What do you got going? What do you got going on after this though? Like after UNLV, you got the 8-bit March Madness style thing going. You're looking into being more into consulting, correct? Like event organizer.
Consulting right now is a means to bootstrap and a means to support myself. But yeah, the dream is esports has given me everything. And esports has taken away a lot too. Like no doubt about that. But
Esports giveth and esports taketh away.
yeah, right? And I'm sure a lot of people like as a first generation, even a second generation, like esports organizer at this point would feel that way. But esports has given me almost everything. It's given me lifelong friends. It's given me a platform to speak. It's given me an opportunity to influence and build. And it's even given me like a super loving girlfriend because my girlfriend like lived or her family moved to Vegas and she is from Cleveland and she knew about 8-bit a while ago and she always wanted to reach out but she always forgot or she'd never had enough time. So 2 years ago, like she finally had time we met up. It was supposed to be a meeting about clubs, like our clubs, and all of a sudden it was a date, and now we're here. So
That's
esports.
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
Mazel
But
tov.
thank you.
Go on.
But yeah, esports has given me everything, and my entire purpose right now is to just give back to the culture that has given me so much. So if that means that I create something like a March Madness or whatever I create, as long as I can provide an experience that can again influence people's lives for the better, like an example would be me, where I met my girlfriend through esports, then that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, whether it be for 8-bit or for some other esports um, initiative that I believe in. Then I will definitely put my heart, my skills, and my unparalleled motivation and ambition to build.
That's beautiful. That's the note
Yeah,
we should end on.
yeah,
That's the nice part. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
yeah.
I really hope that succeeds. I'm gonna be watching out, and if it's in Vegas, I'm obviously gonna be going to it. So, yeah, I really hope that works out, man. Thank you very much for being on the show.
I appreciate you having me.
You have any shout outs? Anything else you want to close with?
Wash your hands,
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. I changed my Twitter handle to
I
Joshua
saw.
Joshua Wash Your Hands Quest.
Yeah.
So please wash your hands, stay indoors, practice social distancing, and most importantly, be safe, be healthy. Everyone, you too, Milo, for
Yeah.
sure. That's
I'm trying my best.
you got some ambitions, man, and I like to see them come to fruition. So definitely stay healthy.
Hmm.
All right, man. You have a good day.
Yeah. You too.
Thanks, man. See ya.
See ya.
I think I've mentioned it before, but one of my biggest joys from doing this podcast is getting to sit down with people I don't know in the scene and just get to talk to them, pick their brain, and learn who they are as a person, and just what their intentions are and how they've affected and what the scene actually means to them. Milo is absolutely no exception of that because he is a fascinating human. He's done a lot and just lives in my backyard. I mean, not literally, but like Las Vegas. And I'm such a hermit that I don't talk to anybody from my area. And I've stated that on my podcast before with people from my area. This is the third person from Vegas that I've had on this podcast, and I've never reached out to them in person. But I'm very fortunate to have this podcast because I get to be able to do that sort of thing and not, no offense, not leave my home. It's really cool because I do want to reach out to people. I do want to talk to people, but I don't want to leave my home. Vegas is weird. I don't like I don't like driving to Vegas. Well, I don't drive anyways, but I don't like traveling to Vegas. I don't like going out to lunch in Vegas, especially I don't know. I like cooking. Maybe I should just invite people over and cook for them and then record our conversations. That'd probably be a little weird. I'll consider it though. But regardless, I am grateful that I got to talk to Milo because again, he has a wealth of knowledge. I had no idea about the whole Caesar thing and him being I mean, I'm not gonna say he was he is that part, but he has that awareness. He was consulting them. I had no idea about any of that. So I mean, things like that are really cool. Little tidbits of information like that's really cool, and it's nice to know that we have some. I personally have somebody in Vegas that is driven like that wants to see the growth of esports in Las Vegas because it's a great place for it. We just legalized betting for esports, so yeah, hopefully this podcast can be free for a lifetime because I'll be making millions of dollars in esports betting because I've done it. I feel like I know who's gonna win. That's mostly a joke. I probably will bet on some esport games because esports, especially League of Legends, because I mean, you kind of know who's gonna win. I mean, I didn't know TSM was gonna beat 100 Thieves, but for the for the most part, you know who's gonna win. Yeah, either way, I feel like I'm rambling. I do that all the time. It's my podcast. I guess kind of do what I want. I want to go play Final Fantasy is what I want to do. So I'm gonna cut this off here. My name is Joshua Fekes Quest. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/Fekes PHEQES. I'll put Milo's and 8-Bit Esports' Twitter handles down in the description below. Other than that, I hope you all stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you back here Monday. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go play Final Fantasy. Have a good one. See ya.